The church is facing serious challenges in our time, and you describe Mary as the morning star, guiding the church and individuals. How can a deeper understanding of her role provide hope and guidance in navigating these complexities?
Yeah, these days there's so many issues under questions of sexual morality. Of course, so much controversy with the recent documents, the Fiducia Supplicans, and then we have so much issues, I believe, with this growing movement of gender ideology and transgenderism, and we've had bishops and certain priests who have been open to these type of ideologies. And here's what I realized from my own walk with Our Lady, from my own observation of people who've had deep conversion experiences. When you have an intimate love of the Mother of God, when you desire a relationship with her, that automatically leads to a deep, intimate love of Jesus Christ. And when you love Christ intimately, following the moral teachings of the church is no longer that challenging, because it's not about abstract rules or external obligations. It's not about my personal agenda. It's about Jesus saying, as he did in the Gospel of John, if you love me, you will keep my commandments. So the centrality is the relationship. It must begin with spirituality. It must begin with prayer, with communion, with a deep, vibrant faith and intimacy with the Eucharistic Jesus, to spend time before the Blessed Sacrament normally, to spend time with Our Lady and her rosary. And once you cultivate that, it affects your mind, it affects your thinking, it purifies your thinking. You realize that the natural law, that these eternal ideas that marriage is between a man and a woman, that this is the plan of God, that this is not just, yes, it's divine revelation, yes, it's in the Bible, but it's also reason. Catholicism is based on faith and reason, natural law, the complementarity of the sexes, the complementarity of male and female, the possibility of biological procreation. All of this is rational. So it's
Mhm.
realizing that there is a design, there is a structure, there is an intelligibility to sexuality, to morality, because ultimately the heresies of the day, the heresies of the day are found today in ideas, especially these false ideas on sexual morality. And but also where I think it's important to be careful is, we need to pray for our Holy Father. Sometimes I
Yes.
think that when controversial statements come out, when controversial documents come out, there could be an insidious temptation of falling too much into a type of right wing ideology that is just an inversion of a horrible left wing ideology. And the right wing ideology can fall into its own heretical ideas, ideas of, anti-pope, or not my holy father, or schism, I'm going to leave the church. No, those are bad
Mm.
ideas. We must fight for the church. The
That's
church is
right.
founded by Jesus Christ. We must pray and fast for our Holy Father, pray and fast for priests, especially those who have gone astray, because sometimes the the anger can turn into an indignation that can be usurped by the devil's own plans, by the devil's own
Yes.
intentions. I come from Chicago. I grew up in Chicago, Polish American family, and one of the great cardinals, archbishops of Chicago was Francis Cardinal George. And
Mm.
Francis Cardinal
Yes.
George once said, following Jesus Christ, it doesn't mean following the left and it doesn't mean following the right. It means following the truth. And that's
Yes.
what we need. We need to be careful, because sometimes, because the way that I perceive it is, the left in many ways have gone off the deep ends, right? So many ideologies, 87 genders, gender as a construct, it's madness. Any rational human being can see that, right? But then the temptation would be, well, I guess I need to go right if the left have gone off the deep ends. Well, be careful with that. Be careful with that, because not every right wing orientation pertains to the robust Christian gospel message,
Yeah.
right? As Cardinal George said, the truth transcends left and right. So we need to be prudent. We need to be careful. Yes, you can respectfully articulate a disagreement with the Holy Father, but do not demonize him. He is still the vicar of Christ. There is still an authority there to honor, even when you think he made a unwise statements, right? So to
Yes.
have that balance where we're able to distinguish between potentially potential human flaw in an articulation versus demonization of the position and the authority, because he is still our spiritual father.
Yes.